Imagine waking up every day, not in a cell with bars, but in a life that feels like an invisible prison. A life where your name, your past, your very identity is slowly being erased, not by an enemy, but by the system meant to protect you. Today, Dark Truth Files brings you the chilling, true story of Sarah Miller. A story of 17 years of unseen torture within the heart of America. This isn't about physical chains. It's a tutorial on how a life can be systematically dismantled, leaving behind a ghost in plain sight. Lesson 1. The initial spark. How an ordinary life can unravel. Every long-term nightmare begins with a single, seemingly insignificant event. For Sarah Miller, a bright, ambitious young woman living in Portland, Oregon, it started with a simple paperwork error that snowballed into an administrative black hole. Step 1. The minor bureaucratic glitch. The relocation and the form. Sarah was 23, fresh out of college, and excited for a new job opportunity in a different state. She filed a routine change of address form for her student loan records, a simple step thousands of Americans take every day. This wasn't a complex legal battle or a criminal investigation, just a mundane piece of government paperwork. The typo that undid everything. Unknown to Sarah, a clerical error at a federal processing center mismatched her Social Security number with a defunct account from another state. It was a single, overlooked typo by an overworked clerk, but it planted the seed for a 17-year ordeal. The first red flag, months later. Sarah received a perplexing letter, a notification of a defaulted student loan that wasn't hers. She immediately called the loan provider, assuming a quick fix. Just a mix-up, she thought. The customer service representative was polite but unhelpful, unable to locate her actual account and only seeing the erroneous one. This was her first encounter with the faceless, unyielding wall of bureaucracy. Step 2. The escalation of neglect. Automated threats. The letters kept coming, increasingly aggressive. Automated systems, designed for speed over nuance, flagged her as a defaulter. Threats of credit score damage, wage garnishment, and even legal action began to fill her mailbox. Each letter was identical, devoid of human understanding. The endless phone tree. Sarah spent countless hours on the phone. Press 1 for payments, press 2 for disputes. Each call ended in frustration. Representatives would pass her from department to department, each asking for the same information, each unable to deviate from their scripts. "We show this account in your name," they'd repeat, ignoring her pleas. It was the digital equivalent of being talked over, dismissed without being heard. The growing isolation, her friends and family, while sympathetic, couldn't grasp the scale of the problem. Just pay it, some suggested, not understanding that it wasn't her debt. Others grew tired of hearing about it. Sarah started to feel isolated, her problem too abstract, too Kafkaesque for anyone to truly comprehend. The real terror began when the default hit her credit score. A perfect 800 plummeted overnight. She was denied a car loan, then a small apartment. Her carefully built financial life, her American dream of independence, began to crumble. This wasn't a physical beating, but a systematic strangulation of her future. How does one fight an enemy that isn't a person but an error in a database, a digital ghost that hunts you relentlessly? Lesson 2. The erosion of identity. How a system can break a spirit. When the foundations of daily life are systematically attacked, the mind begins to question reality. This phase details how Sarah's sense of self was slowly eroded by the relentless, faceless pressure. Step 1. The credit score catastrophe. Denied opportunities, the low credit score became her brand. Job applications were mysteriously rejected. Landlords refused her. The ability to simply live a normal adult life in the USA, rent an apartment, buy a car, secure a good job, was systematically denied. She was financially tortured into a state of perpetual limbo. The debt collector's onslaught. Aggressive debt collection agencies, often with morally questionable tactics, began hounding her. They called her workplace, her parents, even distant relatives listed on old forms. They didn't care about mix-ups. They cared about collection. Each call was a new wave of humiliation, a public declaration of her failure. Fighting an invisible enemy. Sarah learned to recognize the debt collector's numbers, the specific tones in their voices. She developed strategies, never admitting fault, demanding proof. Recording calls, but it was exhausting. A constant mental battle against a system that only saw numbers, not a human being. Step 2. The legal labyrinth. The summons. Eventually, a summons arrived. The student loan company was suing her for the defaulted amount. This was it, her chance to explain, to bring evidence. She hired a lawyer, draining her meager savings. The courtroom nightmare. The courtroom was not the justice she envisioned. The judge, overwhelmed with similar cases, saw just another defaulter. Her lawyer presented the evidence of the mismatched Social Security number, the bureaucratic error, but the loan company's lawyers simply pointed to the official records. The system shows Ms. Miller owes this debt. The sheer volume of automated records outweighed her human plea. The default judgment. Despite her efforts, a default judgment was entered against her. Not because she lost the argument on facts, but because the system couldn't unsee the error. This meant wage garnishment became a reality. Her paychecks were suddenly smaller, a constant, tangible reminder of the invisible debt. Sarah, a law-abiding citizen, was now legally branded a defaulter, a financial pariah. Her appeals were denied, her pleas for reinvestigation ignored. She reached out to federal agencies, consumer protection groups, anyone who would listen. Each promised help, but none could cut through the red tape. Imagine the psychological torture. Your own government, the one you pledge allegiance to, is inadvertently stripping you of your dignity, piece by agonizing piece. How much longer could she endure this systematic erasure? Lesson 3. The long haul, surviving the psychological prison. 17 years is a lifetime for a problem. This phase details the insidious ways prolonged systemic torture manifests. Even without physical violence and the desperate measures one takes to survive. Step 1. The social seclusion. Broken dreams. Sarah couldn't get a mortgage. Marriage prospects dwindled. Who wanted to inherit a phantom debt and a ruined credit score? The simple, fundamental dreams of an American adult. A home, a family, financial stability became impossible. The lie she lived, she started fabricating stories. I prefer renting. I'm not looking to buy a car right now. The constant need to hide her secret, to pretend she was fine, became a daily performance. This psychological burden was immense, a form of self-imposed torture to avoid judgment. Erosion of trust. Her trust in systems, in authority, in fairness, completely shattered. She became hyper-vigilant, questioning every piece of mail, every official interaction. This constant state of anxiety was exhausting. Step 2. The mental fortitude. The power of documentation. Sarah became her own expert. She meticulously documented every call, every letter, every interaction. Dates, times, names of representatives, reference numbers. This was her weapon, her proof that she was sane, that this was real, even if no one else saw it. Micro-victories. She celebrated small wins. A brief reprieve from debt collector calls, a polite customer service rep. These tiny moments of recognition were life rafts in a sea of despair. Adapting to the prison, she learned to live within her financial constraints. She got a cash-only job, avoided anything that required a credit check. She built a new, smaller world for herself, a form of mental self-preservation, even if it meant sacrificing a normal American life. 17 years. 17 years of fighting an invisible enemy, of being denied basic dignities, of watching her life shrink. Many would have given up, succumbed to the despair. But Sarah, though broken, was not shattered. Just when she thought her spirit would finally give way, a chance encounter, a single human connection, offered a glimmer of hope from the most unexpected corner of the very system that had tortured her. Could one compassionate soul truly unravel a decade and a half of systemic error? Or was this just another cruel illusion in Sarah's unseen prison? Lesson 4. The Breakthrough. A crack in the wall of neglect. Even the most brutal systems can have cracks, and sometimes it only takes one determined individual to find them. This phase details how Sarah's persistence finally paid off, but not without immense personal sacrifice. Step 1. The human connection. The Ombudsman's Office, after years of dead ends. A desperate Sarah stumbled upon a small, often overlooked, government office. The Ombudsman's Office for Federal Agencies, designed to resolve intractable citizen complaints. This wasn't a quick fix. It was a last resort, a new approach. Sarah submitted her entire meticulously documented file. Years of letters, call logs, court documents. This time, her complaint landed on the desk of a seasoned, empathetic ombudsman, a woman named Emily, who had seen too many cases like Sarah's. Emily didn't just see a file. She saw a person. The deep dive. Emily took Sarah's case personally. She spent months methodically digging through layers of outdated databases, cross-referencing archives, and pushing back against automated denials. She followed the forgotten paper trail from 17 years ago, retracing the steps that led to the original typo. It was a painstaking, almost archaeological investigation into bureaucratic negligence. Step 2. Unraveling the error. The discovery. After arduous months, Emily found it. The original, hand-keyed data entry form from 17 years prior, with a tiny, almost imperceptible smudge that obscured the correct Social Security number, leading to the fateful mismatch. It was proof, irrefutable and tangible. The battle for rectification. Armed with this evidence, Emily initiated the process of rectifying the error. This wasn't simple. It involved official internal audits, appeals to high-level department heads, and legal maneuvering to overturn the old default judgment. It was a bureaucratic war, fought with documents and regulations. The official apology. After nearly 18 months of Emily's relentless advocacy, Sarah received a formal letter. It was an apology from the federal agency, acknowledging the error. Her credit score was finally expunged, the phantom debt officially cleared. The legal judgment against her was overturned. The invisible chains were finally broken. The system, after 17 years, finally admitted its mistake. Sarah Miller was officially free. Her name was cleared. But freedom didn't taste sweet. It was laced with the bitterness of lost years, broken dreams, and deep-seated trauma. How does one rebuild a life, reclaim an identity, when 17 years of torture have left invisible, yet indelible, scars on the soul? What is the true cost of such a victory? Lesson 5. The aftermath, reclaiming a life, bearing the scars. Freedom after prolonged suffering is not an immediate cure. This final lesson explores the enduring legacy of invisible torture and the long, arduous journey of rebuilding a shattered life. Step 1. The road to recovery. Financial reclamation. With her credit clear, Sarah could finally access the financial tools of modern American life. She opened new bank accounts, got a credit card, and started saving. But the trust was gone. She meticulously checked every statement, every record. Psychological healing. The trauma lingered. She suffered from anxiety, nightmares, and a deep-seated distrust of authority. She sought therapy, slowly learning to process the years of fear and isolation. This was a long, painful process akin to recovering from any long-term physical illness. Social reintegration. Reconnecting with society was challenging. The years of seclusion had changed her. She found it hard to trust, to form deep relationships. The tutorial of her suffering had taught her resilience, but also deep skepticism. Step 2. The enduring scars. Lost time. 17 years vanished. Her youth, her early career ambitions, her opportunities for love and family. These could never be reclaimed. She was now in her early 40s, starting over in many ways from where she had been at 23. The fight for advocacy. Sarah, now a survivor, channeled her experience into advocacy. She became a vocal proponent for bureaucratic reform, helping others navigate similar administrative nightmares. She testified before state and federal committees, sharing her chilling story as a warning. This became her new purpose, a way to prevent others from enduring her unseen prison. The lingering question, despite her freedom and new purpose, the fundamental question remained: what was the true cost? Was the vindication worth the years of suffering, the lost potential, the enduring psychological scars? For Sarah, the answer was complex. Survival came at an unimaginable price. Sarah Miller's story is a chilling tutorial, not just on bureaucratic failure, but on the true, insidious nature of torture. It wasn't the dramatic violence of a dungeon, but the systematic psychological erosion of a life, prolonged over 17 agonizing years. Her resilience is inspiring, but her scars are a haunting reminder. Sometimes, the most brutal prisons are built, not with bricks and mortar, but with negligence, indifference, and a simple, uncorrected error in a system that claims to serve. For more chilling insights into the hidden truths of our world, make sure to subscribe to Dark Truth Files.